Hey everybody, this is Stefan at Lush&SaltyAquariums. It's almost time for the lights to start going out in all my various freshwater nano aquariums. But before they do, I thought I'd give you the big picture and the quickest of helicopter rides over each and every one of these little worlds, starting with this nano tank with the gold and or albino neon tetras. I've never gotten a for certain identification, but they're fabulous, fat and happy, schooling together. I've got a carpet of Monte Carlo down there, beautiful Anubias and Crips in the back for you plant lovers, and tons of cherry shrimp, if you forgive the reflection. And then the lucky palm growing out. I have tremendous success with this plant if you leave the root, or rather the rootstock in above the ground, push it in slightly, and the outer part is fabulous. Now into this jar vase where I have a group of endlers. I need to get rid of some of those. They're getting too big and boisterous for this small tank. In the tank you see some pothos, two varieties growing out, and then the obligatory duckweed and frogbit, just like here, which helps filter this tank because all I have in it is an air stone and a heater. But you see Japanese clover, some Anubias in there as well, and very happy guppies or endlers. In this tank, a Nano Cube, a little bit more ornate, running a hang-on back filter, tons of plants. There's 3 male endlers and a small group of ruby tetras, which are a docile but lovely tetras, a bit more rare than some of the typical tetras you find in the local fish stores. So that makes up my desktop aquariums. You see I have one of my masks slash bandanas kind of working around the corner there in case there's any spills, and it gives it a little bit of a rock and roll flair. Moving to the awesome jungle tank. This is a Fluval F series. It has a great bit of cabinet hardware which houses the canister filter inside, but take a look at this tank. It's filled with tetras and gorgeous plant life. I think somewhere inside of these plants are still a couple pea puffers. I've got Siamese algae eaters. I've got Autosynclus. I've got various Corydoras in there as well. But this is just a helicopter view. Groups of tetras, neons, more of those albinos, some red tetras, some brass tetras. Totally love this tank. I hope you do too. Helicoptering down into the crazier jungle Nanoscape, which houses at this point a shit ton of endlers as well. Look at that beautiful leer tail right there. I also have a few lampi killies in here. There's 3, and they seem to get on very well with, there's one there, you see the blue eye. There's also, believe it or not, a beta in here, but he likes to be up and in the denseness toward the back. But he's very beautiful and happy. And look at that plant life growing out. It has a north-facing window. I created a wall of emerged. I always get that confused. The ones that come out, it forms a wall to keep the sun out of here. That's why the water's crystal clear and you see no algae on the bottom. A lot of ram's horn snails, which I will catch and feed to my puffers. Now moving over here, forgive the Diet Coke, is my other jar aquarium. You see the lucky palms, you see pothos. The pothos is literally wrapping around. You move the Coke, so I want to show you something. That's all the root stock from the pothos digging into the substrate. I've got Crips in there, the Crip parva, and these are all least killifish. I literally net about 10 a day of the babies and move them to pond tanks outside, and also feed the fry to bigger fish, particularly my saltwater fish. I'm sorry if you find that repugnant, but I just have so many babies. It's live food. What can I tell you? More endlers in here. Also some clown killies, which are gorgeous. There's a group of them as well. They love to hang out at the top. I have this lid on because killies will jump, but also it diffuses the light because I was getting algae in here. You see the BBA algae. I'm treating it with hydrogen peroxide. It looks like it's killing it, and then I can suck that all off and I'll have beautiful plant life beneath it. But part of the problem is all the fish, but I think it was more because of too much intense light. I'm working on it, folks. It's a happy tank though. Things are thriving. It looks great despite the algae issue, which is a new phenomenon for me. Despite all the fish I keep and heavily stocked tanks, this is the only instance of an algae problem that I have in all of my tanks. But I'm working on it now. Over here, the Fluval Edge with the glass top. Very stylish tank, a great carpet of Monte Carlo. I do use CO2 for this tank, which is why the Monte Carlo plus these gorgeous double lights. The one from the kit in the back there is not good enough for Monte Carlo, so I bought a Phoenix, and it sits right on top of the glass with those two brackets, and that intense light is all that Monte Carlo needs. And you see the lamb chop rasboras fat and happy, content in this relatively small tank. Again, a lot of cherry shrimp in here as well. And finally we move up. God, I beat all the lights because they're all on timers and they're gonna go off. This tank I have been working on. There's a ton of cherry shrimp. You see some pygmy cory cats down there. I have a group of those. More of the ubiquitous endlers, but the original inhabitants are the celestial pearl danios, and I have a couple, maybe 3 or 4, and it looks like I have a spawning pair. So ideally I'd get rid of the endlers and see if I can't spawn the celestial pearl danios, the CPDs as they're called, because this would be a perfect tank for that. I've got different kinds of moss healthy in the back. Wassertang, that's the plant back there, and then Christmas moss up there, a big healthy group of it. The CPDs would absolutely deposit their eggs in there if they haven't already, but if they are, these ferocious little endlers will get to them. I need to frankly get rid of some endlers, so if anybody wants some beautiful endlers, particularly the females, hit me up and I'll give you a couple. If you're in the Bay Area, I can make that happen. They're not predating on all the cherry shrimp. There are tons in here. I'm happy to trade cherry shrimp as well. Just look at them all. Some are of the higher quality, like that one there, a Bloody Mary, and then others are just a lower grade, but totally healthy and happy. So that, my friends, is a quick helicopter of all my freshwater tanks. Whew! I hope you enjoyed that tour. And as always, keep your hands in the tank. Ciao for now.